What is going on, YouTube people? New York Cards and Comics here. Today, Michael Rubin says this card is the greatest invention in the history of sports cards. He did a little sit-down, quick Q&A with Sports Business Journal over in the boardroom. And one of the questions, there's literally only 3 questions. One of the questions was about the collectibles industry. So, what did he have to say? Quote, think about the debut patch. That was the best invention, I think, in the history of trading cards. The history of trading cards was this the greatest invention. I mean, listen, I love the debut patch. I love the concept of it. I think it's probably going to be the most valuable card for every player going forward. I think this is going to be their most expensive card for every single player from now until they stop making them. You know, he talks about in the story, but think about it. What would the LeBron, if there was a debut patch from LeBron's first game, or Ohtani's first game, Tom Brady's, Patrick Mahomes, the amount of money that would sell for would be insane. It's a way better card than a 101 Superfractor. It has a cool little patch from the moment that the player first stepped on the field, court, whatever, ring. Now they do them for wrestling, and they do them for pretty much everything, which I'm fine with. They should have them for every single sport. But is it the greatest card ever? Is it the greatest thing to ever happen to trading cards? And I don't, listen, I am not smart enough to sit here and tell you what the right answer is to that question, but I look forward to your all feedback in the comment section down below on what you think it is. Is it a great idea? Yes. Is it probably the best idea in the modern era? Probably yes. Do I think, what would I think is the best invention in the history of trading cards? From a business sense, putting them in packs, putting them in blind packaging. Whoever came up with that idea way back when to randomize it, have a checklist, you get a couple of different cards. Whoever came up with the blind box nature of trading cards set it all up to where we are today. Now, is that the best innovation or invention? I don't know. Probably not for the consumer. For the companies, it sure as hell was. And boy, oh boy, now more than ever. You could go down the rabbit hole here. You know, if the autographed card doesn't exist, this doesn't exist. If the relic card doesn't exist, this doesn't exist. So, like, do those have to exist for this to live? It gets a little weird when you start going down that general direction. But in the modern era, you know, if you want to go, I don't know, since the 90s, maybe even 2000s, you know, what crazy things have come to trading cards? Autographs were there already. Relics have been there for a while. You know, refractor technology has, changed over the years. If anything, let's be honest, refractors in the 90s looked better than they do today in a lot of cases. Die cut inserts, game used event or game used memorabilia. I don't know what the correct answer here is. I think this is high on the list. I'll give it that. I don't know if it's number 1 of all time. I could see the argument for it because, like I said, this is going to be, in my opinion, the most important card for every single player going forward that has one of these things. And it has drawn a ton of attention. Look at the hype behind the Paul Skeens card last year. So from a moving product standpoint, he's absolutely right. From lining Rubin's pockets, 100% correct. That bad boy might be the best invention to 10x Fanatics' financial numbers. From a collector standpoint, given that probably the top 1% of 1% will actually own these things, unless you get super lucky and pull one. I mean, I guess of the lesser players, they're air quote affordable. I think the cheapest one I've ever seen sell is for a few $1,000s, like even for a relief pitcher that came in for like a 1 inning. It still goes for a pretty decent chunk of change. But it's a great concept. Yes, it's a little iron-on patch. It's not a permanent piece of the uniform. But listen, you had to have compromises there to work around it, because a player is not going to let you slice and dice their first ever uniform. They're going to want that for their own personal collection, or if the player ends up being big enough, it's going to want to end up in the Hall of Fame. So the idea behind this of slapping the patch on there that's easily removable, trackable, etc., is pretty smart. And the fact that they have now blown this thing out to everything, they're throwing it on wrestlers' gear for their debuts, for WrestleManias, for all sorts of nonsense. And you know, they've already confirmed we're going to see this in football and basketball going forward. I can tell you right now, buckle up for Cooper Flagg's debut patch sometime next year. Say they put that in Chrome Update 2025 NBA. The debut patch chase for that is going to be crazy. That will be the one everyone will be hunting for. Imagine the football ones. Imagine the hunt for Jaden Daniels during his little playoff run, if that product came out. Let's assume it follows the same cadence. You know, that it comes out in an update style product, which is usually later in the season or the year. And let's assume they're on schedule. And let's go back to Jaden Daniels' rookie year, or CJ Stroud's. They both made the playoffs and made many runs. Imagine that product releasing around the playoff time. The hunt for those couple of quarterbacks as debut patches would have been wild. People, it would have been like Willy Wonka in the Chocolate Factory with what's-her-face having all the people in the factory open up the candy bars for her to find the golden ticket. The little rich girl. I'm blanking on her name at the moment. So is it the greatest invention ever for the collector? I don't know. Is it the greatest invention ever for selling Topps product? Probably. As always, curious for your thoughts and comments down below. Catch you on the next one. Peace.